We'll begin this hour in Abuja, where the Federal High Court, presided over by Justice Hangout, has dismissed a suit filed by the Attorneys General of the 36 state governments against the federal government. The attorneys had challenged the federal government's move to deduct $418 million from states' funds to settle debts owed to consultants engaged by the states and local governments in relation to the Paris Club refunds. Judiciary correspondent Celestina Area reports.
The grounds of the governors from the 36 states is that they were not parties to a legal action, which resulted in a judgment that ordered the federal government to deduct $418 million from the state government's account to settle the debt obligations to various contractors who assisted the states in the Paris Club reform project. The Attorneys General of the 36 states had sought an order to restrain President Muhammadu Buhari and others from effecting the planned deduction. The defendants on their part argued that based on an earlier judgment of court, the former chairman of Nigerian Governors Forum, Abdulaziz Yari, issued a promissory note on behalf of the governors to the effect that the $418 million be deducted from their money from the Federation account. They therefore prayed Justice Eko not to sit as an appeal court in a matter that had earlier been decided by his court. Delivering judgment, Justice Ian Eko held that the plaintiff has not shown enough evidence to accord them the local standing to institute the action. The court noted that the contention of the plaintiff that it was not party to the judgment debt does not hold water because the Nigerian Governors Forum and the Association of Local Governments were parties in the suit. The action of the plaintiff amounts to an abuse of court process. Consequently, the judge dismissed the suit for lacking in merit.
Representative of the states, they require no consent from their governor, and their governor challenges not their authority. So it's strange to say that Attorney General of the 36 states of the Federation have no local standard to complain on behalf of the government of the state.
The court did not say that the Attorney Generals had lacked locals to institute action on behalf of their state. But he said in this matter, where the action of the governor is at the center of the suit, that they could not come without the consent of their governors, and secondly, they ought to make the governors respondents so that they can be heard.
Section 195 of the Constitution established the office of the Attorney General as an appointee by the governor. Due to the adverment and issues raised in this suit, the AGs ought to have shown that they got consent from the governors to institute the suit. Celestina Area, TVC News, Abuja.
Still in Abuja, the Federal High Court has postponed its judgment on the suit filed by the People's Democratic Party, seeking to declare the seat of the Cross River State Governor, Professor Ben Ayade, and his deputy Varaisu vacant. The PDP filed the suit following the defection to the All Progressives Congress. Justice Taiwo, who initially fixed Friday to decide on the case, has now postponed the judgment in the suit until April 6. Although the court did not adduce any reason why it postponed the verdict, it notified the parties about the new date through the cause list. Justice Taiwo had in a judgment he delivered on Monday sacked 20 lawmakers from Cross River following the defection from the PDP to the APC. In the meantime, the Supreme Court has upheld the deregistration of 22 political parties carried out by the Independent National Electoral Commission. The parties were among 74 others scrapped by INEC in 2020 following their poor performance in previous general elections. Justice Ejembi Eko on Friday set aside a judgment of the Court of Appeal Abuja Division, which had nullified the deregistration of the political parties. He was delivering judgment in an appeal instituted by INEC against the judgment of the Court of Appeal. Justice Eko held that the Court of Appeal on its own raised the issue of lack of fair hearing in favor of the 22 scrapped parties and arrived at the conclusion without hearing from other parties in the matter. He therefore upheld the appeal by the electoral umpire as being meritorious and allowed. Let's talk politics now. You're watching live pictures from the Eagle Square, Abuja, venue of the All Progressives Congress National Convention, where all is now set for the event. Adjustments are still ongoing, but from what we know, major arrangements have been concluded for a successful outing. Now, there's a free flow of traffic around the central area housing the Eagle Square, venue of the convention. However, the main entrances leading into the square are barricaded with police vehicles. Security is tight and cars are not allowed into the area except with authorized identification. Well, let's talk to defense correspondent Sifon Sen, who is live at the Eagle Square. But just before we get to Sifon Sen, we're joined by spokesperson of the House of Representatives, Benjamin Kalu, who joins us live from our Abuja studio. The APC is holding its first national convention in close to 2 years after some 2 or 3 attempts. Honorable Kalu, how do you feel about that, and what does this mean for your party?
Thank you very much for having me. Let me say that we are excited that we are finally coming together to network with each other to form a new way forward with a new set of leadership that will lay the foundation of what is going to happen to the benefit of Nigerians come 2023. We are excited because it will be a moment to celebrate all the achievement of this present administration in various areas of the life of this nation. Knowing fully well that we're a new party, 8 to 9 years old, but we have done tremendously well. Mr. President has done so well in various areas. Talk about the economy, talk about security, talk about international relations, talk about agriculture, talk about policy formulation and implementation, and a whole lot.
Honorable Kalu, let me just quickly interrupt you. We're going to talk about how what the president has done in a short while, particularly now that we're counting down to another big election. But I'm concerned about the unprecedented measure of consultations that we have witnessed in the past 24 hours. The president has spoken to APC governors. He met with the founding leaders of your party and also the chairmanship aspirants. However, we're hearing that the consensus arrangement isn't tight yet. There are still contestants who are going ahead with campaigns. What are you hearing about this unity list?
This is the beauty of democracy. When you talk about the unity list, it's a reflection of one of the options of bringing on board our leaders, which is called consensus. Consensus is not coercion. It's not like picking somebody to anoint him against the desires and the wishes of the other leaders of the party. In fact, it is more difficult to have a consensus candidate than individuals going for their aspiration, their ambition. What is happening in our party at the moment is that it has been our democratic tradition, even in the previous years, that our leadership emerged through consensus. And this consensus is not an imposition through coercion. Some people have rumored that Mr. President is just sitting and just picking who becomes what. No, that is not it. What is happening here is the power of unity among the leaders of the party is playing out, where though that all of them are qualified who want to be one thing or the other in the various positions, the issue remains that one person at the end of the day will take the position. And it takes the power of unity and the leadership, the strength of the leadership of Mr. President as the leader of the party to make this happen.
Indeed.
And this is what is playing out. I'm happy with what he's doing now, networking with various stakeholders. In fact, he has a robust stakeholders administration list, which includes the governors. Yesterday, he met with the members of the National Assembly, the caucus leaders of the National Assembly. He is meeting with the aspirants. He's cutting even with the founders of the party, those who came together to form APC. He's giving respect to whom respect is due.
Indeed.
And that is the beauty of APC, that we have a leader that all of us are focused on, a leader that we have a reverential fear for, a leader that when he directs, it is not for self-serving purposes, it is for the growth of our party. So what is going to happen is at the end of the day, the unity list that everybody is talking about will be a reflection of that meeting of the mind, a general agreement between the leaders from various local governments, states, and the federation. Like what we did was to zone the positions to various angles of this nation to enable people there microzone it to the quarters that have not experienced leadership opportunity. So when they meet and they agree, they will present their lists. Some of those lists have been presented and we are still waiting for some of them. And as you know, in politics, 24 hours is a lot of hours, in making decision.
Absolutely.
I am sure that before tomorrow morning that we are going to have something to be proud of.
Absolutely. Honorable Kalu, we are also counting down, bearing in mind that this is perhaps the first national convention that will be excluding ministers and other federal government appointees. Thank you for talking to us tonight. Benjamin Kalu, spokesperson of the House of Representatives. We'll take a break now.
Thank you very much.
And return with more stories. Police in Abuja have now restricted traffic in the metropolis of the city as part of a larger security strategy for the National Convention. The restriction would take effect as from midnight today. Sifonesian has details.
The Eagle Square, venue of the APC Convention scheduled for Saturday, is a beehive of activity. Party members and suppliers are getting the venue set for the political event. Securing the location and indeed the FCT is the primary responsibility of the FCT Police Command. The police had earlier announced a robust strategy for securing the convention. And now it would be enforcing restriction of movement in the metropolis of Abuja. Areas within the vicinity of the Eagle Square and those in the outer radius would have limited access. The areas where movement will be restricted include the Goodluck Ebele Jonathan Way by the Court of Appeal. Others are the Ministry of Women Affairs, the Finance Junction Bus Stop, and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Movement will also be restricted around the National Mosque, Benue Plaza, NMPC Towers, Sedi Plaza, Transcorp Hilton, and the DSS headquarters. The National Assembly Junction and the Bayelsa House will be no-go areas as well. There will also be several layers of security at the Eagle Square. What this means is that the metropolis of Abuja, especially around the Eagle Square, will be under lockdown. Sifonesian, TVC News, Abuja.
Sivon joins me live now from Eagle Square, venue of the APC National Convention. There's a lot of story about restrictions in Abuja tomorrow, but paint a picture to us about what it was like driving down to where you are. What's the traffic situation like right now within the metropolis?
Coming from the speakers, the suppliers are trying to test their sound ahead of the event tomorrow. The stage is gradually being set. Security operatives have been deployed outside at the moment. A while ago, they were inside controlling the crowd of supporters, of delegates that have thronged this arena. Shortly after now, everybody, at least almost everybody, will be sent out, whereby paving way for a security sweep to be conducted in this arena to ensure nothing offensive or that threaten security is allowed, because Mr. President is going to be in this arena to grace the occasion tomorrow. But lots of energy, lots of activity. The balloons are flying. It might be difficult for you to see from this standpoint. The stage, as I mentioned earlier, is gradually getting set. A lot of activities, a lot of energies happening at the moment. If we could move a little to the right, we can see, moving, panning towards the stage box, we could see some of the supporters strong in that area just to register their presence. But security operatives are on top of their game so far, managing the crowd surging at this arena.
Correspondent Stephen is live for us at the Eagle Square, Abuja. And let's talk security now. Several members of the Boko Haram and Islamic State of West African province have fled their stronghold after troops raided their camp in Sambisa Forest in Borno State. Director of Defense Media Operations, Major General Bernardo Yoko, disclosed this in a statement earlier today. He explained that soldiers attached to Operation Harden Kai overran the insurgents in the course of a special operation without resistance about 9 a.m. on Thursday. The gallant troops also captured the terrorist stronghold of Okuba Camp, Zairo, in Sambisa Forest, with Major General Yoko stating that the troops recovered several heavy equipment after a thorough cordon and search of the captured camp. The fight against terrorism has just received another boost as the United States donates mobile nuclear detection system vans and equipment worth $2 million. The donation was made to the Explosive Ordnance Disposal Command of the Nigeria Police Force. Senior correspondent Ivy Kanu has details.
Nigeria has continued to battle insurgency, banditry, and other forms of terrorism. At this event, the Explosive Ordnance Disposal Command has received these well-equipped mobile nuclear detection vans.
The smuggling of nuclear and radiological material is a significant national security concern, not only for the United States, but for every country. This equipment will help the police combat the smuggling of nuclear and radioactive material into and within Nigeria.
The Inspector General of Police was represented by the Commissioner of Police in charge of the Explosive Ordnance Disposal Command.
Let me also extend the IGP's profound gratitude to NSDD for the donations received so far, particularly the 5 MDS vans, 3 radioisotop identification devices, 3 PAC-I backpack to radiation detectors, 3 survey meters, 7 sensor technology radiation pages, maintenance and spare parts kits.
Then there was simulation by some of the officers trained by the United States Department of Energy's National Nuclear Security Administration Office of Nuclear Smuggling Detection and Deterrence. This second car was detected by the van. After a thorough inspection with the donated equipment, a radioactive material was found on the driver of the vehicle flashed by the van. At the end of the simulation, certificates were presented to the officers. A total of 40 officers were trained for the 2 weeks. 30 received operators training, while 10 had maintenance training. The United States government says the collaboration is going to be a continuous one that will be beneficial to the country, be it in donation of equipment where necessary and capacity building for Nigerian security officers in tackling security challenges. And we hope this is a train-the-trainer program so that junior officers will also benefit. Ivy Kano, TVC News, Lagos.
To the war against smuggling, the Nigeria Customs Service Kano Jigawa Area Command has intercepted contraband items worth 498 million naira over the past 3 months. The customs operatives also arrested 4 suspects in the period under review. TVC News Kano correspondent Ibrahim Isa reports.
The Nigeria Customs Kano Jigawa Area Command headquarters is filled with items seized from smugglers at various locations, especially the Jigawa axis. This is the 4th time in 2022 the Customs is displaying the confiscated items in the state and coincides with the assumption of office of the new area comptroller, Muhammad Abubakar.
I'm addressing the press, stakeholders, and business community in this command.
a new beginning in our journey to fulfill our core mandate, which you all know, to improve our revenue generation, to suppress smuggling, facilitate trade, and national security in the command areas of coverage.
From January to March, the Kano Jigar Customs Command intercepted 1,031 bags of foreign rice, 151 cartons of spaghetti, 91 macaroni, 3,712 donkey skin, 1,237 cartons of foreign soaps, 3 bags of donkey pennies, amongst other contraband items.
The total payable value is about 662,498 naira. These seizures were made at different locations within the command area of coverage.
4 suspects were arrested in connection with the illegal exploitation of donkey skin, but have been offered administrative bail pending conclusion of investigation. Donkeys are endangered species under the Convention of the International Trade in Endangered Species of Wild Fauna and Flora, of which Nigeria is a signatory. Customs says it would continue working closely with other security agencies in the interest of national security and also the mitigation of smuggling activities in the state. Ibrahim Isa, TVC News, Kano.
From that, the Nigerian government, in partnership with UNICEF, has launched a learning passport to provide continuous education to learners across the country. Unveiling the platform in Abuja, Vice President Yemi Osinbajo called on education stakeholders to support the initiative and ensure its viability. Helen Osamide Akins reports.
Before COVID-19, about 10.5 million Nigerian children aged between 5 and 14 were not in school. Today in Nigeria, more than 9.7 million children are at risk of never returning to school. The quest to change the narrative brought about this partnership between the federal government and UNICEF. The platform, which is an online mobile platform, will soon be an offline platform to provide access to 3 million learners in 2022 and 12 million by 2025. The platform is designed for pre-primary, primary and secondary school learning with provisions for learning materials in all curriculum subjects.
Nigeria is facing a learning crisis. Millions of children and young people are not developing even the basic skills they need to break out of poverty. This is being exacerbated by the unprecedented disruptions to schooling and learning by incessant security worries, the COVID-19 pandemic, as well as more recent attacks of different forms.
It will allow for the expansion of the digital platform through partnerships with the IHS. It will allow greater access by young people to data through partnerships with Airtel, MTN and others. It will allow adolescent girls, the most deprived of all our society, to access things whenever they want and however they want.
Both the digital divide and COVID-19 have shown that Nigeria must innovate to help its learners fulfill their right to an education. The content of the platform is offered in English and the Nigerian languages of Hausa, Igbo and Yoruba, and this will provide access to continuous learning, including in locations where insecurity hinders learners' access to school. Helena Samede Kings, TVC News, Abuja.
We'll take a break now and return with more stories. Stay with us. Let's turn attention to health matters. Myths and conceptions about immune diseases are still common in Nigeria, and this is made worse by social media-induced hysteria. To address these misconceptions, the Federal Teaching Hospital Gombe organized an in-house refresher for doctors. Larry Adiemi has details.
Lupus disease recently trended on social media after a popular actress announced that she has been diagnosed with the ailment and has less than 5 years to live. As with uncommon diseases and those whose causes are yet unknown, there are several misconceptions around lupus.
This is just to show the incidents.
This presentation, organized by the Department of Internal Medicine at the Federal Teaching Hospital in Gombe, aims at sensitizing doctors on the latest research and treatments.
We're reacting to life bilaterally.
After the presentations, a robust question and answer session followed.
There are some components of the body that should protect us from having infection, for instance. But for whatever reason, these components will now become aberrant and they begin to misbehave. Instead of protecting the body, they now begin to attack the body.
One of the presentation is recurrent child loss. So you get pregnant and keep having miscarriage. Most of them, when they come initially, they are discouraged. Like we had a patient in ONG who had been having recurrent miscarriages, almost 3 to 4 miscarriages. But when this disease was now diagnosed, when the diagnosis was made, the patient was placed on drugs and was able to carry her pregnancy to term, to delivery.
Medical experts explain that social stigma and depression are additional challenges that patients battle. Psychosocial support is an important part of treatment.
Rheumatologists now have the ability to manage the patient in such a way that the person can live a normal life. For instance, the patient, if it's a lady, she can actually put to bed, she can live a normal life without any form of issue whatsoever.
Most of them come angry and depressed at the way the disease have been for long, because it's not easily detected and they tend to stay with it for a very long period of time. So when they come, you have to encourage them and tell them, yes, you can live with this, it's not a death sentence.
Lupus, like many other immune diseases, is difficult to diagnose. But the good news is that more experts in this difficult medical field are being trained. Many so-called mysterious diseases are just undiagnosed ailments. The real killer is ignorance. Landry Adiemi, TVC News, Gombe.
The River Basin Development Authority has commenced the construction of a dam in Kuya community of Karu local government of Nasarawa State in order to encourage irrigation farming. The project, which is in collaboration with authorities of a local government, is expected to last for 3 months. Godwin Agwam has details and will return with business news.
Kuya is an agrarian community in Karu local government of Nasarawa State. The community is renowned for its production of agricultural produce in commercial quantities. They have adopted the practice of embarking on all-year farming, but non-availability of water has posed a challenge to them.
Yes, we are doing it when we have a river here, when we are using it for, but when it comes, sometimes it normally dry. Normally dry, we don't normally get it quite okay.
The River Basin Development Authority, in collaboration with the Karu Local Government Council, are committed to addressing this situation and putting smiles on the faces of farmers. This has informed the commencement of the construction of this multi-billion-naira dam. The dam, which will serve as a source of irrigation, will source its water from this river.
Looking at our closeness to Abuja and looking at the population density within Karu local government, and looking at the situation that most of the youths have found themselves, lack of white-collar job, I think that will create a lot of job opportunity for our teeming youth, because there's going to be irrigation farming. You can see there is vast land within within the area that the dam is being constructed.
We're having eight walk, as you can see what we're having here. 8 walk, 8 dam. It is being use of local material to construct it. As you can see, at least we have our borrow pit inside the reservoir, which will later form part of the reservoir where water will stay. The embankment, the length of the embankment is 340.
Dry season farmers in the community are happy with the unfolding developments. This project is expected to serve as a source of irrigation to farmers, not just in Koya community, but the entire Karu local government area, in order to boost agricultural production in the state. Godwin Agwam, TVC News, Cairo.
Business news. Business leaders have been urged to be innovative and resilient in addressing unprecedented disruption in the business world. The charge was given at the 2022 edition of the CFO luncheon put together by the Franco-Nigeria Chamber of Commerce and Industry in Lagos. Blessed Omonose reports.
The importance of resilience for businesses around the world has become a primary concern during the last few years as a result of climate change, the COVID-19 pandemic, and more recently, the Russia-Ukraine crisis, which has taken its toll on the global economy. But the big question begging for answer is, how can business leaders meet the resilience challenge to achieve sustainable and inclusive growth in a rapidly changing environment? At this gathering, put together by the Franco-Nigerian Chamber of Commerce and Industry, business leaders have been urged to improve their strategic planning and decision-making skills.
Since financial reporting is a system-wide process, so having a quality financial statement entails that the system has built in all the shocks to take care of all the crises.
The CFO should understand their role that has gone beyond debit and credit, right? They should understand that they are now a strategic partner, even in every of the organizations they represent. And having that in mind, they'll be able to develop strategies that are sustainable, not just for survival purpose. And if they can put that into work, they will make sure at the end of the day they'll have an organization that will survive and even thrive.
For identifying, prioritizing...
Director General of the FNCCI, Mr. Moses Umaru, emphasized on the need for corporate organizations to be flexible and innovative in overcoming unprecedented disruption.
If you look at the Russian-Ukraine crisis, we understand that the price of oil has increased because of definitely the cost of oil price from the global market, over $100 per barrel. But looking at the cost of wheat and what have you, the cost of other energy products are going to increase. And what that happens is that it brings about an increase in terms of cost for final consumers, while affecting the company's bottom line negatively. What companies should do right now as far as the global issue is concerned is to hold on to your costs while finding a way to be able to mitigate whatever is happening as far as your business are concerned.
In the bid to shape a common resilience agenda to strengthen economic growth, CFOs have been advised to urgently intensify dialogue between players in the public and private space. Blessed Omonose, TVC News, Lagos.
And as part of efforts to curb the menace of rabies and resultant human fatalities in the state, the Lagos State government has flagged off a free mass anti-rabies vaccination campaign program for domestic pets, especially dogs and cats. According to the State Commissioner for Agriculture, Ms. Abisola Olusoya, the vaccination campaign is aimed at promoting awareness of rabies among dogs and cats, as rabies remain a deadly disease mostly transmitted to humans through infected dogs' bites, which can result in fatalities if not treated early. She noted that the governor, that Babajide Sanwo-Olu's administration, is leaving no stone unturned in eradicating the spread of rabies and other communicable diseases in the state, adding that vaccinating domestic pets is the most cost-effective strategy for preventing rabies and curbing its transmission.
You also are the number of people that actually own pets in Lagos State but are not really doing what is needed. So we leave our dogs, we leave our cats to stray on the streets, we leave them to eat whatever they need to eat just to survive, but that is not the right thing. If you're going to own a pet, be responsible about it.
As a government of Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu, the state is resolute about ensuring a healthy environment and people. Thus, Mr. Governor is determined to eradicate rabies from Lagos State in order to ensure that the state remains its megacity status and remains the Lagos of our collective dream.
For the pet owners, it's a good opportunity for you to bring out your pet for vaccination. Very important. We have been told the importance of vaccination because the anti-rabies campaign that is ongoing is something that is very, 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 very important and is critical.
While a pre-survey meeting on implementation of institutionalization monitoring of crop variety using genotyping program has been held in Abuja. The platform, which was introduced in the country last year, is a means whereby farmers can be provided with original seeds for cultivation. Lara Falayo reports. After that, we'll have sports news up next. Stay with us.
Institutionalizing monitoring of crop variety genotyping program, also known as the IMAGE program, was introduced into Nigeria's agricultural system last year. The project targets making improved variety monitoring and reporting possible in the country for crops including rice, maize, cowpea, and cassava. A development meant to change the narrative of poor methodology used in assessing farmers' adoption of improved varieties.
We are organizing a training under the project institutionalizing monitoring of variety adoption using genotyping. This is a new tool that we are using to trace and track adoption of crop varieties that is used by farmers.
We are grateful that Nigeria took a lead to make sure that they are initiating the training of partners as well as the data collection. Data collectors. So we are representing Tanzania here to learn from Nigeria first before we implement in our country.
The norm in Nigeria has been the use of household surveys from farmers for adopting improved seed varieties, and this has been characterized by flaws which include inconsistencies in DNA fingerprinting. The IMAGE project, on its part, would now give adequate methodology for the measurements and also provide the data on the varieties turnover over time.
National capacity, so that post the project we can conduct meaningful surveys that will impact the Nigerian agricultural and seed system in particular for the better.
They give different names in different society, in different communities to different varieties. And by the time we want to know the readoption, we find it difficult because several names are given to the same varieties. But this DNA fingerprinting will really capture the readoption of improved crop varieties in the country.
The 5-year project is supported by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation alongside other partners, and it is being implemented in Nigeria, Tanzania, and Ethiopia.
Standardizing the country's seed market is part of the fight against fake and substandard seeds in the country. But the battle is still yet to be won. Lara Folayo, TVC News, Abuja.